Hey guys, this is Drew, and I just wanted to talk to you about something that's been on my mind. How long do you think scooters are actually going to last in the market? And I mean Bird, Lift, Lime, Jump, Spin, uh, Skip. There's a bunch other ones too, actually. But how long can these companies actually last as a viable company, considering I can't even imagine any one of them having made an actual profit since they opened, since they started? uh, Lyft joined the market. I think they might actually be one of the more likely to win. And Jump, or Uber owned Jump company, could work too, because the majority of people who use these forms of transportation are people who use Lyft and use Uber. And so these two scooter add-on companies, where Lyft scooters was added onto the Lyft platform, and Jump scooters and bikes were added onto the Uber platform. And Uber also integrates in Lime scooters into their app. In my mind, those two are going to be the more successful out of all of them. Bird, it's an uphill battle. Yes, it's growing worldwide in the way of just being a company that provides a service of people having access to the scooters. I don't really see how they're going to make money. The majority of the scooters that they put on the street don't last 2 months. They have yet to pay for themselves, and it's rare to see a scooter actually turn profit. Um, as a consumer, imagine you go out and you ride a scooter, you pay $1 to start and 15 cents a minute. And you and maybe a few other people ride that same scooter all day, okay? So it's ridden 5 times. It makes some money. Then someone has to pick it up, go home and charge it and drop it off. And then it could go a couple days without being ridden. So, and it could have potentially needed to be picked up, charged, and dropped off again. The outpouring of money for charging and maintaining the scooters, in addition to the upfront cost of having purchased the scooter and the staff on the back end to oversee everything, it's just very, very expensive. And I just can't imagine how it could make enough money to cover its initial outpouring of cost, outside of potentially using the user data and selling that in some form of extra way of making money. So the straightforward, if say I buy a scooter and I rent it out, the likelihood of turning a profit from renting out the scooter to people who need to use it and want access to it is very, very low. If anything, I get some money back, and then it potentially gets lost, stolen, or damaged to the point where I have to repair it and spend more money on it, or it's just gone. So it's not a profitable company. It's not a profitable business. It's a great idea, and if they can find some way to tweak it, make it more secure, or some other way of running the business of micromobility, scooter rentals, maybe just maybe it could be turned into a business that makes money, turned into a business that is profitable. I just don't see it. I don't understand how. Like, for example, recently, San Diego, California Comic-Con happened, right? So in San Diego, California, big event, Comic-Con, the city of San Diego this year, beginning of July, integrated in a system where every scooter company who wants to be in this area has to pay a $5,000 biannual fee, and a $150 per scooter fee for the scooters out on the street. And they integrated in corrals, like these big squares equivalent to about half a car size, in a ton of spots throughout San Diego. So in downtown, where if I was a charger to go charge and I have to drop them off in these corrals, otherwise they could be impounded for improper parking. Well, the city of San Diego did a coordinated situation where they got with the police department and the city workers, and during Comic-Con, all scooters that were improperly parked and put in wrong places or violating some of the rules were impounded. The fee for the impound is $65 and $1 per day as a cost to have it storage. So, the city of San Diego impounded 2,500 scooters over the week of Comic-Con, which means they not only had charged these companies, say the $150 on the annual fee per scooter, which comes out to like over $1 million, right? So over $1 million these companies had paid for just these 2,500 scooters. Okay, hear me out. In addition to that, when these scooters were impounded and possessed by the city, taken off the street, put into their impound lot, the fees times all of the scooters came out to like $165,000. So even if all of those scooters were ridden and all of the rest of the scooters were ridden throughout San Diego during Comic-Con, there is such a impossible chance that they actually turned a profit, considering the city just hit them with that giant fee. So, like, okay, I work for a company, and the company that I work for that does scooters, they had 11 scooters impounded out of their 200 scooter fleet, maybe 150. It varies week to week. Out of their fleet, 11 were impounded. Well, those 11 were likely parked in the wrong spot because someone rode it, parked in the wrong place. The city impounded them. So those scooters, the only scooters, the very small amount of user rate right now, the only scooters that were actually used were ones that ended up costing the company more money than they gained. So the only ones that they made money off of had cost them a ton of money. $710 or something like that. If you factor 65, blah, 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 blah. I don't know how long they stayed in the impound lot because it's an additional $1 per day. So just by this one weekend situation, none of these scooter companies could have made money. Like, let's be real. How many rides per day times number of scooters could they have actually had a situation where over the week one scooter pulled $70 in profit? Very, very, very low chance. But 2,500 total scooters between all the companies were impounded and cost them $165,000. It's bonkers. It's bonkers. Oh, and actually, now that I think about it, the math that I came up with for the over $1 million was actually the value of the scooters, because if approximately $500 per times that ends up being quite a bit of money, 1.2 some million or something. But the actual cost, like $65 per scooter, that is about $160,000, some crazy number like that. I'd have to pull a calculator to get the exact math, but the point of what I'm saying is, I just don't see how any of these scooter companies are going to make it in the long run. Like, do the hard math, do the calculations, or maybe you don't care, and that's cool too. Because honestly, early on, I was thinking like, this isn't going to last. When I was in the heyday of making charging scooters, I was making between 7 and 15 per scooter, and there were some nights that I worked just a couple hours and pulled $400 or $500. I was like, this is insane. This is ridiculous. I knew it was going to last, and it didn't, and it dropped prices, and now it's more realistic. You know, the heavier scooters cost $5 to charge for Bird. The regular scooters from Lime are like $4. So they dropped prices. They made them less likely to need to be charged, so you don't have to charge them every day, and just a lot of stuff like that, which is how they make adjustments to make it where it's more viable. But the reality is still there that how can these companies turn things around, make an actual profit? Like, are they really just building this up, having this kind of market share concept to then try to sell to a bigger company who wants to buy them out, but still not make money? Like, look at Uber and Lyft. Both companies have yet to turn a profit. The overall cost of running their business models versus the amount of revenue they're receiving, they are not making profit. How have we come as a society to this type of environment where a business could be like that and still garner, investors and funding and all these things, when the business model isn't built to actually make money, because it's relying upon so many factors that it's very difficult to turn it into a profitable business model. It just baffles me. But back to the scooters. I kind of want your opinion. Do you think the industry of micromobility, scooters, mobile bike share, all these things will last? Do you think it'll last? Am I just unnecessarily thinking of these negative aspects of the industry? Am I off base? I don't know. Like, I somehow turned this YouTube channel into something where I openly talk about the struggles I have as someone who charges scooters. So I know the ins and outs of doing the work, the physical aspect, and being a contractor, and now even being an employee side of this industry. I obviously don't know the back end stuff for its business model. Like, if I knew that stuff, maybe I wouldn't be making videos of it. Maybe I'd be in a whole different position. I don't know. But what I do know, based on what I've seen, and it's not I don't know it, I think it. I think the whole industry of the scooters is going to be short-lived, and maybe a couple more years, and it'll have a major problem that's going to be highlighted, and major cities are already banning them. If anything, the winners in this war for control over micro mobility, control over like who's the first company to be in a city, the winners will be the manufacturing companies of these scooters. Whoever makes these scooters are going to be the winners. And that's great for them, because someone has to make these products that people are trying to sell. And all the other smaller companies that are trying to join in on this battle of selling people scooters and bikes. So it's creating a huge movement of people trying to find ways of transporting themselves in more environmentally friendly ways, which that's amazing. That's great. That's fantastic. I'm happy about that, because riding a scooter somewhere versus driving a vehicle is just no-brainer better. It's better. Like, it is good to use these electric scooters and ways of getting around. So back to that question. Do you think these companies will last? How long do you think is the runway before one of the major companies like Bird or Lime or something like that falls apart? Will one buy another, and is that going to be the solution where they all kind of conglomerate together and then just like have one major company? Or is it going to be like right now the big leaders is Lime. It used to be Lime Bike, but now it's just Lime. And Bird big, Lime big. Both these companies are big, but the disruptors was Uber jumping in with Jump and Lyft jumping in with Lyft scooters. So those two things are throwing a wrench into their the system. And then a handful of other smaller companies that are trying to get market share and trying to join in and do the thing. Like, some are doing it good and some are just like, the model in general, in my mind, it's not going to work. But if you're someone like myself who capitalizes on any and all opportunities that come your way, go out there and make some money. Charging scooters is not going to get you rich. It's not going to be like the heydays of what I showed videos of. When I was showing those videos of making $500, $400, $300, there were some months where I made several $1,000s charging scooters. A couple nights a day, a couple hours a night, and a couple days a week. Easy. I was making good money and it was easy. Now, not so easy. I could still probably pull, if I put the effort in and wanted to work on it, $100 a day. That's not unrealistic. For the company I work for as an employee, I make over $140 a day. when I do work. And because of the limited available scooters and because of my limited available schedule, because I work a different job, I do 1, maybe 2 days a week doing that. And it's nice extra income in addition to the job I have. But if I wanted to put effort into it and charged some limes or birds, I can make $100 a day easy, maybe more, which is pretty cool. But I'm aware that that will not last. And one day, one of these big companies are going to fail. They're going to drop off. They're going to just be gone. But you've got to be able to roll the punches and move on when things like that happen. Don't get upset and try to hold your talents into what you had, what you wanted, what you were doing. Be aware that if something falls apart or dies or changes, you've got to flow with it. You can't be upset about something that's out of your control. No work you do, unless it's on your own and it's all in your control, like you're some kind of independent artist or creator or something, will be without the chance of it changing. Any job you can get fired from. Any business can go under. Any contract can be canceled. All those things. There's no certainty. Be willing to roll with the punches. Go along with the flow and change if you need to. For me, I was a Lyft driver, then I went into multiple different industries, and then I did the scooter thing, and then I did the YouTube thing, and then I ended up with a job at a restaurant, and then I ended up at a job at a bar, and then you gotta be willing to move and flow and change and not let things that don't work out hold you down, okay? Totally don't know how this tangent went in this direction. The summary of this video is more of a question. Do you think scooters are going to last? And I don't have the hard facts to write out, but I could get a chalkboard and I could write out all the figures of what the estimated cost, and there's been plenty of articles written and videos made and essentially news talking about the reality that these companies just don't seem to have a future. It's out there already. I don't need to recreate it. I've watched it and I kind of agree with it. So maybe a part of this video is, if things start to change and you can't rely upon the steadiness of this work or this income, and you have to do something different, understand that that's okay, and for all you know, it's for the best. And you find something better, and you find something that brings you joy, happiness, and satisfaction beyond reason. You've got to be open to that possibility. I bought a truck to do scooters, another vehicle. I had the one truck I had, then I had some issues with it, and then I bought a car because I was doing Lyft, and then as of late, when I got that job for a company as an employee for scooters, I went out and bought a truck, and now the scooter thing is 1 day a week instead of 4, and it's also like sort of uncertain, and now I have this payment on a vehicle that I might not even really have needed. So I have to roll with the punches. You move along, you change, you flow, you do things differently. You just have to. So, I don't know how this got into this whole topic or whatever, but back to the question, do you think it's going to last? Do you think scooters are going to work out? If not, how long do you think until it'll change or die or fall off? For me, I'm guessing 18 months and some major changes are going to happen. Cities are going to ban them, other ones are going to kick them out, and they will have already got their money from them, so they'll be happy. Like, the amount of money that these cities are now going to do cash grabs from these companies is insane. And these companies are going to pay it because they can't go around without paying it. That's what regulation is. That's what rules are. That's what these fees are for, you know? So, have a great day, and thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, click that like button, subscribe to this channel if you're interested in hearing more of my thoughts on this industry and other things like that. I've got an Instagram, @writingtocash. I got a Facebook also. Check that out. You can message me on there. You can send comments on here, and share to your friends if you thought it was interesting. Thank you so much, and have a great day.